Welcome to the Awesomers.com podcast. If you love to learn, and if you're motivated to expand your mind, and heck, if you desire to break through those traditional paradigms and find your own version of success, you are in the right place. Awesomers around the world are on a journey to improve their lives and the lives of those around them. We believe in paying it forward, and we fundamentally try to live up to the great Zig Ziglar quote, where he said, "You can have everything in your life you want if you help enough other people get what they want." It doesn't matter where you came from, it only matters where you're going. My name is Steve Simonson, and I hope you will join me on this awesomer journey.
If you're launching a new product manufactured in China, you will need professional, high-resolution, Amazon-ready photographs. Because Simo Global has a team of professionals in China, you will oftentimes receive your listings photographs before your product even leaves the country. This streamlined process will save you the time, money, and energy needed to concentrate on marketing and other creative content strategies before your item is in stock and ready for sale. Visit simoglobal.com to learn more, because a picture should be worth 1,000 keywords.
You're listening to episode number 86 on the Awesomers.com podcast series. And as you may have guessed, all you have to do is run over to awesomers.com/86 to see relevant show notes and details, and maybe some of the links that we talk about in today's episode. Now, today is part one of a three-part series with Vladi Gordon, and we're talking about some of the fun things that he's been through in terms of his experience and his background with software development, working for Big Blue, also known as IBM, in his prior career, and then that evolving into kind of the Amazon side of the business, and then ultimately back into software. It's kind of like a ricochet: software, Amazon, software. And today we're going to talk a lot about that journey. And we also talk about, as Vladi calls it, 5 Amazon profit killers. So you are going to love today's episode. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're glad to be here too. Hey, Awesomers, it's me, Steve Simonson, and I'm back again with another episode of the Awesomers.com podcast series. And today I'm joined by Vladi Gordon. Vladi, how are you, buddy?
Hello, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Great. Glad to have you indeed. And I've already read in kind of your background and your bio a little bit to tell people a little bit more about you from the high level. But tell us right now, live, if you will, what is where do you live and what is your day-to-day responsibilities?
Yeah, so I live in Stuttgart, Germany. Originally, I'm from a country called Moldova. It was a part of the Soviet Union years and years ago, but I live in Germany since 18 years. So basically, I moved as I was a student, and I'm a co-founder at sellerboard.com. So this is currently my biggest passion. We are a profit analytics tool for Amazon sellers, and our vision is to be the world's most precise tool. So the world's most accurate profit analytics tool. And we're live since 1.5 years working on this project as a co-founder and CEO since 2 years, and I'm loving every day of it.
Yeah, I can imagine it's a fun thing. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the seller board tool, and by the way, everybody, will have the links in the show notes and so forth for everybody to make sure they get good access. But for seller board, is your method a SaaS model, or do people have to download software? How does it work?
No, it's a SaaS model. So the tool is completely in the browser. You can connect your Seller Central account, and we automatically pull in the data that we need to display the profitability charts and do all the math. And you can access it from any browser or any phone, basically.
Yeah, what a world we live in. Pretty much any device can get online. You can see what's up, and that is certainly a great day. So, Vladi, before we kind of jump into the day-to-day problems that Amazon sellers face, I'm a big fan of entrepreneurs in general, and certainly e-commerce entrepreneurs are near and dear to my heart. I want to learn a little bit more about you, if you don't mind. So, you mentioned that you're from Moldova. What city in Moldova were you born in?
It's called Chisinau. It's the capital.
Oh yeah, Chisinau. Sure, I know it well. No, I don't know it. I am happy to say I know Moldova. I've heard of that. So I got to be in the top 1% of geography knowledge. What do you think?
No, well, basically it's good enough because this is a small country. It used to have like 4.5 million people. Now I think it's it's less, maybe 3 million. And
Wow.
it's not a big city, but it's the biggest. So knowing Moldova is enough.
That's fascinating. Now, what do you think has led to this kind of very significant shift in population?
I think like after the Soviet Union collapse, basically the economy stopped working, and this was a pretty small country, so we didn't really have like a lot of industry going on or banking, and everything changed and capitalism came and nobody was ready for it. Basically, nobody knew what to do. So a lot of people just moved, basically like myself, my parents, and some of them went to Europe or to US, and another part to Russia or to the east. And yeah, I think that's the main problem. So basically, the country lost a big part of its population.
Yeah, that's extraordinary and historic times for sure. So let's go stay back with that. It sounds like you were at university at some point. Uh,
Exactly. I studied computer science in Germany.
okay,
And
nice.
actually, while I was at the university, I started working at IBM because we have a big IBM development lab here in near Stuttgart. It's like 1,800 people, I believe. It used to be the biggest IBM development lab outside of the US, but now there are bigger ones in India. And yeah, I started working there basically as a software developer. And then when I was done with my studies, I continued for another 5 years. And it was awesome. I was just programming code, and this was all I wanted at that time. And I just loved the IBM being so international and open. So yeah, that was a great time.
IBM certainly an exceptional company that's really stood the test of time, I suppose. A lot of people don't really know IBM's history, and I'm not even going to go all the way to the back of the history, but from the 20s forward, they mostly made typewriters, right? And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
to have a company that made typewriters essentially, then move into making computers, right? Kind of in the 80s, and then completely exit that business and
Yes,
more or less just be in the software services business is an
exactly.
extraordinary ride. And what types of projects were you working on there, Vladi?
Um, IBM has like still produces those huge computers called mainframes,
True.
and I was on the mainframe team developing software. It was like more of a modern kind of software, like web interfaces and everything, but it was still for those big computers that are used in banks and insurance companies.
Yeah, kind of still probably a Unix base to them, I presume.
Oh, well, they do have Unix as well, but they also have a proprietary operating
Oh,
system. It's called ZOS. And
fascinating.
so it's really like not so like popular. You won't find too many people who know about this, but I think it's like 50 biggest banks in the world use those servers or
Oh,
still
that is
use
very
them.
interesting. I guess it's a good way for keeping hackers off the mainframes. If not everybody's an expert on Windows
Yeah,
or versus the
yeah,
ZOS. You're going to find more hackers on
absolutely,
Windows for sure.
absolutely. Nobody knows how to hack it, but
Yeah.
it's a cash cow for IBM for sure.
Well, we always respect cash cows, and we want some of those cows of our own, I believe. So let's talk about from the time you had that job. It sounded like you enjoy it. Was there a defining moment from that point to now that put you on the road to where you are today?
I guess I was reading books on basically business and motivation, things like good to great, and I don't know, all those kind of books. And um, at a certain point, I decided I want to be more in the business and less in the software development, because I really love developing software, but you're kind of a little bit um, you know you're sitting in one room, and you're working on a small part of one project, and don't see the world outside it for weeks sometimes. So at a certain point, I thought, okay, I want to be in the software business, not really in the software development.
It's interesting. So I think that's a natural evolution, by the way. I also studied computer science for one whole
Oh,
semester and loved programming. I was a programmer from early on, But I realized, not long into my probably late teen years, early 20s, that programming could more or less be a commodity, and I wanted to do stuff kind of in the business world. It's funny that you mentioned the book Good to Great, which I think is a very important book to help people kind of, again, break the paradigms of normal and have a bigger perspective. For those awesomers out there listening, awesomers.com/46, my good buddy Michael Pinkowski did a Book of the Week review on Good to Great just recently to remind us that book, even though it's somewhat dated, the concepts and the ideas and the lessons are not in fact dated. It sounds like you took something away from that book too, huh?
Well, basically, it motivated me to find another job, and I took another corporate job but in product management, software product management, and it was like a way to learn how the software business is working, and was a lot of fun for sure. But at that time, I also understood, okay, I want to take it one step further and really do my own thing. And then I ran into Amazon. This whole hype started. I guess Amazon sellers existed also 10 years ago, but I think it was 4 or 5 years ago. This whole amazing selling machine, and all those early days or early day courses, they kind of put a lot of attention on Amazon, I also noticed it, and I asked myself, okay, can I do it in Germany? Because all those stories, they were about US, and I wasn't even sure how to sell in US. Actually, I think it's pretty easy to sell in US without being a US citizen or without even having a company in the US. Probably even easier than selling in Germany, being a German citizen, But anyway, I thought, okay, I should give it a try, and I think that this was my first step into this.
That's a fascinating. I'd like to dive more into that here in a minute. I'm going to ask you some follow-up questions, but first we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to do that right now. Hey, I wonder if you are my awesomer review hero. I saw a 5-star review on iTunes the other day, and it's from Old Lady JJ, and she leads with this title: Awesomer's podcast really is awesomer. It's a 5-star review, which of course makes our day. Myself and the whole team that works on this, and there's a bunch of people, 3-4 people who work on every single episode. I think at least 4 plus me, that's 5. So there's a lot of work that goes into these. So these really do make our day. So again, I'll lead the title. Awesomer's podcast really is awesomer. And here's what she goes on to say. This podcast is full of rich knowledge and experience that is freely shared. Not only is it entertaining, but by applying what I'm learning, I am changing and becoming a better person. Not to mention, you will learn how to become a successful business owner and entrepreneur from the best in the business. Such a superb podcast. And all I can say is you are my awesomer review hero. Thank you so much for the kind words. It really is humbling to see those words written down, and I hope that I can continue to earn your trust and earn your listenership because, you, Old Lady JJ, and anybody else listening right now, you guys really are the reason I'm doing this. So, Old Lady JJ, you are my awesomer review hero. Okay, we're back, everybody. And just before the break, I teased this idea of kind of diving a little further into this pardon the expression, but the Amazon hype that was going on 4 or 5 years ago. So you are right that you could sell on Amazon, dating back many, many years. In fact, the first time we were invited, one of my old companies was invited to sell on Amazon, was probably in the 2001 to 2002 timeframe, when they were testing a concept called Z-Shops, which did not go particularly well, by the way. But they got smarter and better and faster and ultimately developed the marketplace, which has gone on very well. But it's exploded here in the past 5 years. How did you get introduced to the concept of these training courses out there?
I'm not sure anymore, but I guess I just, I was watching some entrepreneurial videos and somebody was talking about Amazon. So I started Googling and looking on YouTube, and I learned about these courses, but I actually never bought a course. I found a podcast, and there were like a couple of podcasts, all of them starting at that time. So I found one. I think it was The Amazing Seller, and then I started listening to it and just reading. So I didn't really buy any course. Did it all myself.
Yeah, you are clearly a learner. You like to get out there and scour the internet. And Scott, who runs the Amazing Seller podcast, which has been going on quite some time. I think I have
Yeah,
500, maybe 600 episodes now. It's crazy. And
it's
he's been
crazy.
doing that for a long, long time. So that shows you're a really good learner. Did you then launch a product on Amazon?
Yeah. Well, actually, my first product was a success. It was interesting. At that time, virtual reality was coming, with Oculus, and Google launched their own virtual reality glass. Have you heard about it? It's a cardboard glass. It was called Google Cardboard.
Yeah, I
Um,
remember it, but go ahead and for the audience who hasn't seen that or
yeah,
familiar, describe how simple it really was.
yeah. So basically, it's a pair of glasses for virtual reality from cardboard, and you can fold it and put your phone into it, and there are two little lenses, plastic lenses in it, so you can look on your phone. And Google also launched an app for this. They call it also Google Cardboard, I believe. And you have some like 3D games there, or like a world which you can explore, and also a Google Cardboard version of YouTube, where you can watch YouTube in 3D. And basically, it's a funny gadget because you can try virtual reality. You fold it together, look into it. You can't really use it for hours because it's cardboard and it's cutting your nose, and the lenses are too small. But you do see this 3D effect. And if you've never done this before, then it's amazing. It's something new. You go like, wow, and then you like play with it for 20 minutes and you throw it away, or you buy maybe a better VR glasses. Basically, I came across this idea and bought one for myself, and I saw, okay, nobody's selling them on Amazon in Germany. And then I was reading about Amazon, thought, okay, that matches, and I'll start my own brand of cardboard VR glasses. And Google, back then, they made the specifications open source, so they published the specs so that everybody can produce them, because this was their goal. They didn't really want to make money with the glasses. They just wanted to basically make VR popular. So I ordered 10 pairs of those glasses on AliExpress, and made pictures with my phone and put them on Amazon. And I didn't have any reviews, but I did know about PPC, so I started PPC, but just, I don't know, maybe $1 a day or euro. And I sold all of them. And I even got a review, I guess, from those 10 units. So and there wasn't any competition at all. I was the only guy selling those glasses, and they were like starting to become popular. So then I found a supplier in Alibaba and ordered one box with 100 pieces, and um, put them online. I didn't really do optimization, or I didn't really gather any reviews either. So no launch at all. I just put them online and just a little bit of PPC. That was it. So I sold all 100, then I ordered 300, and then I had a kind of a bad moment because they were all broken. They were all wet, and it was cardboard, and I don't know, bad supplier, didn't really know about QA. And since then I know, okay, you should have some quality assurance in China. So they sent it to me, and of course they didn't give me the money back, and it was a disaster. So, but anyway, I was ordering more and more and more, and it kept growing, and and I kind of, it was a trend product, and it's easy to sell those, especially if you're the only one. And for the first 6 months, I believe I was the only one, because
Amazing.
Amazon wasn't that popular in Germany. There were no courses, no blogs, no podcasts in German whatsoever, and you had to find out everything yourself about VAT and taxes and import and how to import. Yeah, so this thing kind of exploded, and then Google was pushing it, and there was one day when I looked on a German news site, and there was a picture of Barack Obama with Angela Merkel, both wearing those glasses. And I think I sold like 180 pieces at $18 per piece, and buying price something like $2. So
Nice.
it was good.
Yeah, I love that kind of history. So first of all, kudos to you on being able to kind of see a trend that was probably near and dear to your heart, right? The first time somebody puts on, if the audience wants to kind of imagine kind of like fat sunglasses that you can slide a phone into, that's essentially what they were. And they had their own lens that really can transform an experience, where they have some videos, as you move your head and look around, it changes the field of vision that you see
Yeah.
inside the glasses. It really does feel cool and interesting, but it definitely is probably a lot like fidget spinners, right?
Exactly.
It's out and then it goes away.
Yeah.
And so how did that, once the trend cooled off after having that really great moment where, leaders of countries are helping sell the product on TV, how did that finally end, presuming that it has?
Yeah. So, well, as you said, it's a trend product is a good thing if you kind of catch the wave, but it also burns down quickly, because then like thousands of sellers started to sell it, especially Chinese guys. And the price goes down, and at a certain point, the hype is over, and nobody wants to buy them anymore, and everybody stays there with huge amount of stock. So you can't really make any money anymore. And well, what I was trying to do, I was trying to launch some more products, because I thought, okay, I should repeat it a couple of times, and then I'm good, I'm
I
set.
like it. Yeah.
And it kind of worked, but I didn't find such a trendy product anymore, so couldn't repeat the success of the first one. And then I understood, okay, what I need now is a process, because when you have one product, it's easy. You order it, you have the boxes at home, you just check them and send them to Amazon. When you have like 5, you have to, even 5 or maybe also different colors, in every one of those 5 products, you have to have a process. You have to have people helping you, and when you start hiring people, they are making mistakes. So it doesn't scale. So you need some prep center. You're paying money for this, that. You need more overhead.
Oh,
And
I think that all of these problems that you're talking about, Vladi, are only for you. None of us have had those problems. No, you're right. I'm sure everybody listening who's gone through the process of growth on e-commerce or in your own business has experienced this. Keep going.
Yeah, and it kind of what you need at that point is you need persistence, and you need to you know to deal with those problems one by one, and you need focus. And my problem was I was a little bit defocused, and I already started thinking about the next project. I thought, okay, I could do a software for Amazon sellers, because I'm a software guy, not like a seller, I guess, by nature. So and I found this niche, profit analytics, because it was hard for me to understand how much money I'm earning, and there were basically no profit tools. I think there was only one. It was pretty expensive and unprecise, and I thought, okay, we can make it in a better way and cheaper and better, and it doesn't look like too much work. And at the end, it was way much work than I thought. But
Yeah, this is one of my axioms. It always takes longer and costs more, and that was specifically lessons I've learned in software, but it applies to almost anything. It sounds like
yeah,
that happened to you too, huh?
absolutely. And software, like in software, it takes it's easy to get the first 20% done. And then you already see something. You see an interface, and you see some pictures, and you can press some buttons, and they're like, okay, we've done 20% in, I don't know, 2 weeks, so maybe 3 more weeks and we're good to launch. But that's not the case. The last 80% of or less, I guess. The last part is the hardest, right? You're programming, dealing with problems, and then nothing changes for months in the interface. And
Yeah, it's hard the milestones in software are much less obvious near the end, because you're sitting there squashing bugs and things
yeah,
that they cause a lot of pain, but they don't really there's no real big relief when they go away, because they weren't obvious. They're not in your face. They're not on the screen. And
absolutely. They're also not sellable. Yeah,
yeah,
everybody
yeah,
thinks.
that's right. It's like, instead of you being able to say, oh, now it's worth more money, it's like, no, now it's worth money.
Now it's working as it
As it's
should.
supposed to. That's right. Yeah, it is. Well, I definitely, I know what you're talking about. Software has definitely been part of our history over the years. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about some of the profit killers that are out there. And you've spoken about this in various conferences, and you have kind of your 5 profit killer ideas. And I want to talk about those when we come back. Is that good?
Sure.
All right, we're going to do it right after this break.
Empowery. The name says it all. Connecting e-commerce entrepreneurs with great people, ideas, systems, and the services needed to stay business dynamic and to grow. Empowery is a network, a cooperative venture of tools and resources to make you better at what you do, because we love what you do. We are you. Visit empowery.com to learn more.
Okay, everybody, so that's the end of part one of this three-part series with Vladi Gordon. And again, I'm thrilled to have Vladi join us and kind of talk a little bit about his background and then start getting into some of those very important topics like, hey, where's the money, right? The old saying, follow the money. Too often as e-commerce sellers and specifically sellers on Amazon, we lose track of some of the things that are most important, whether it's returns or some of the other details that we talked about in today's episode. We're going to continue to talk about that in the remaining parts of this series. So again, this has been part one of three. Join us again tomorrow for the second part of this series with Vladi. And just as a reminder as well, this has been episode number 86 of the Awesomers podcast series. So just run over to awesomers.com/86 to see any further details. Well, we've done it again, everybody. We have another episode of the Awesomers podcast ready for the world. Thank you for joining us, and we hope that you've enjoyed our program today. Now's a good time to take a moment to subscribe, like, and share this podcast. Heck, you could even leave a review if you wanted. Awesomers around you will appreciate your help. It's only with your participation and sharing that we'll be able to achieve our goals. Our success is literally in your hands. Thank you again for joining us. We are at your service. Find out more about me, Steve Simonson, our guest, team, and all the other Awesomers involved at awesomers.com. Thank you again.
Awesomers.com